Welcome. Ahom Prema. Ahom Prema. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So I'm going to wait for people to get on. Try to get for 9 people. It's usually my magic number. We're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk, Charles Kirk. And the theme of this live is protect your empathy. Protect your empathy because it is your golden key. It is the one thing that is the most powerful gift to yourself. Your ability to empathize to people who you may not agree with. And we cannot compare, we cannot compare a pedo serial Killer and a Charlie Kirk. I mean, come on, okay? Let's fucking wake up. But people are acting like his opinions that he recorded it looks like a year ago. He started asking the right questions. I'm just gonna say he started asking the right questions. And if you've been following Gaza for the last 2 years, you know exactly what questions he was asking. That's all I'll say. Because it's not about theorizing, and it's not about talking about who and how and why they did it. But I will say this. The leader of any country needs to unify people, not divide people. It is the responsibility of any warrior, great general, leader, to unify his troops, to unify his people, his villagers, his lords and ladies. I'll leave it at that. The real conversation here isn't about what, who, where, and why. I think there are incredible content creators that are actually driving the truth through, and through the eye of a needle comes the truth. What we're going to be talking about is your fucking empathy. Because you see, here's the thing. This idea that to be happy for any brutality or any kind of violence is sick. What a person says about any other human beings is bullshit. I'm going to bring you a very good example, actually. I'm going to bring you Malcolm X. My father knew Malcolm X, just so you know. And Malcolm X was a product of his environment during Jim Crow, and it was fucking awful. And I'll give you this example because it's important. And in jail, he converted to Islam, okay? And he found solace in Islam, but he still had a simmering hate, okay? And when he went to Mecca, one of the great lines is he saw that his brother had blonde hair and blue eyes, and whatever he had felt, which was a hate towards a certain group of people, dissolved, and he came back transformed, and he came back with new ideas, new concepts. He transformed. And what's really, I think, wrong in our society is that we actually think that we can't teach an old dog new trick, and it's bullshit. The whole point of ascension is that people may be raised in a certain system. Like, for example, I remember watching shows on former KKK members marrying black women, like literally changing. Like, that's a massive 180, losing their family, all their friends, all they knew, because they were transformed by whatever went down. They got transformed. People change. People transform. People say the most horrific thing, and suddenly they realize why. They look back on themselves going, how could I have thought this? How could I have said this? And so the opportunity for a human being to be transformed for Charlie Kirk was stopped. And this is where we, as a people who are in the spiritual consciousness of evolution and ascension, new earth, we can't go down the rabbit hole of many liberals or conservatives who have gone into this frenzy. They're like fucking piranhas in the ocean. It's like throwing a fucking a half a cow in the water, and you see them just going at it. And that's what you're saying, a brutality in consciousness meant to erupt and disrupt what many of us are doing in the ancient wisdom community. Again, I refute New Age. So in the spiritual community. And so it's funny too, because I'm seeing people who are saying things. I saw a woman my age, and she should be ashamed of herself. I blocked her house. I don't want to see her fucking content. Saying that she had seen, see, this is where you're going to lose me here, but I'm going to hopefully stay with me. For the last 2 years, she had seen the brutality of Gaza, the soul of my soul, Hinge, stories like that stuck out over other brutal fucking stories. Brutal. I mean, we've been watching shit that is brutal through Telegram, Instagram, and so on. You know the list. I'm not going to fucking repeat it. And so, yeah, okay? And so she said that she was with a coworker who said, yeah, you don't want to see this regarding Charlie Kirk. And she said she felt nothing. Mic drop. Nothing. I woke up this morning. Now, let me preface this by I've been here for a few decades on this planet. And I've seen shit since I was 8 or 9 in various wars and genos. Rwanda, pictures of that, stories of that. I could go on and on. Serbia. I could go on and on and on and on. I'm not going to. And I can tell you that watching what happened to Charlie Kirk was as fucking devastating to me, watching a human being being destroyed in one fell swoop, as devastating to me as watching a child holding parts of their parents in a bag, as watching a mother howl for her entire lineage destroyed. Pain is pain is pain. It's actually unconditional. It's actually unconditional. This was not some... Charlie looked like he was moving towards some light. I'm not joking. You can look at the videos on YouTube. You can look at all kinds of shit that people are stitching. And that's not to excuse any point. I would be shocked if I saw anyone else get hit like that. It would still be a shock. It should still remain a shock. In other words, if you are so desensitized that that kind of violence in front of your eyes does not do anything, you should check your shit. I'm not joking. Okay? I was not a fan of his. In fact, everything he said I disagreed with. Irregardless, though, watching that, my empathy is fucking pure. And I need you to understand how important it is for your ascension. This is really an example of why your ascension cannot be fucking hijacked. This is not a flex to say you feel nothing. This is a moment where you need to sit in meditation going, wow, that's some white hot rage I got here. Let me figure out what this is. I'm actually not joking. This is not to point the finger at you and whatever. It's to make you... I mean, it's up to you. Do whatever you want. You want to fucking walk through life where your empathy is conditional? I get it. Work with that. Enjoy. See how far you go with that. But I've been given the signs for a while that empathy is part of the ascension journey. I mean, if you believe in Yeshua, Jesus, however you want to call him, Isa, right? And you... When he says turn the other cheek, he doesn't mean let somebody beat the fuck out of you. He means unconditional, meaning move on. Move on. Keep it walking. Don't let that hate and that rage, impotent rage, destroy you as a human being. Do not let it. But do not let anything take away your ability to be shaken up by an act of violence, whether it's a Kirk, a child, an H group, an IOF. It doesn't matter who it is, to be honest. The visual of watching someone breathe and talk and be and blink and cough and suddenly within milliseconds ends should shock the fuck out of you every time you watch it. Every time. I don't care if you've been on this planet 70 years, 80 years, 20 years. This is very important. Very, very important. Because you see, part of the reason why we're having such troubles, and this is completely on a day-to-day, is people are using pharma to lobotomize how they feel because working the grind of 9 to 5, punching in, working 2 jobs. Fuck, I know people working 3 jobs. You don't want to feel a sense of despair anymore. So people are doing funny shit with their brain chemicals. I'll say it like that because I really want this life to survive. And the reason why I'm still doing these lives on TikTok, though I really rather not, is because I have 32,000 on TikTok, and I'm lucky to get 8 of you to sit down here. But I really want to, if you're following me, I want you to really follow me on YouTube because I want to do more raw, real lives that are 18 or over. Like, you can't go on my live if you're not 18. So I can be free to talk and rumble. Okay? Because I have to police myself constantly in this app, and it's getting annoying. But suffice it to say, I actually feel like I'm preaching to the choir. So this video would be for someone that you know didn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit about the kids, brown, beige, black kids, whatever, white kids. Doesn't give a shit about the girl, the Ukrainian girl that lost her life, and we saw the apathy. There's a lot of shocking kind of realities that are being brought to us full and center. But I have to tell you, I grew up listening to, like, I'll give you an example. There was a woman being essayed under a staircase in New York City. It was a very famous case. And she cried and screamed for help for like an hour. No one did a fucking thing. This is the 1970s. No one did shit. They didn't call the police. They didn't go help her. And she eventually lost her life. She was being assaulted by somebody. And the man, for all I know, never got caught. This is what I know. In New York City in the 70s and 80s, they were constantly being pushed on the rails. Constantly. And I remember a situation where an old woman, I think she was in her 70s, got the life beat out of her, and everyone on the train did nothing. This is the 70s, so it's not like new, okay? Did nothing. So I think what we're finally realizing, you know, with our cameras, our phones, we're all fucking videographers and so forth, is that we're what you're seeing is things I grew up with, and I am sure that it was no different 100 years previous to that. Apathy. Fear of getting involved, apathy, fear of even fucking calling the fucking cops, if nothing else. And one of the cases that was really egregious was Junior. Junior was 15 years old, born on 11/11. I kid you fucking not. It was a famous case out of Brooklyn, New York in I think it was 2018. He died July of 2018. Okay? Summer solstice, on the day of the summer solstice. It was all kinds of videos about why that happened and what it really meant on a different. Again, I can't say shit here. Anyway, suffice it to say, it was some kind of ritual. Okay. Anyway, the bodega owner did not help him. This was an angelic, sweet. My hit was that he was probably on the autism spectrum, just innocent, sweet, goofy, sweet. No one said shit about this kid. Was not a gang member at all, but he was annihilated by gangs. No one did shit. No one. So this idea that no one does anything, and if you saw what happened to Charlie Kirk, what did people do? People ran. People ran. And we also know that there were people filming a roof of a building and said nothing. I think what's happening is our brains on the collective level, not your brain, not my brain, certainly not, but our brains are being collectively we're so brainwashed that we think it's a video game. We think, when I say we, I mean politely them, but it's not us, it's them. They think it's a video game. They think it's a movie. But they don't react. They don't do shit. The level of apathy is actually gaining in stride. If anything, that's probably why I'm here to tell you. But most importantly, aside from that, to me, the main concern is empathy. Protect that at all fucking costs. Don't let that shit go away. make sure if you get up, if you saw the full video, what happened to, Charlie Kirk, knowing his wife and kids, two daughters were watching. The eldest daughter will never forget that. The younger one's too young. But eventually, these kids are going to grow up at, 17, 16, and they're going to go down in the internet and look for the video of how daddy died. Trust me. And there's no way. There's no way. It doesn't, honestly, I don't think that people realize that people celebrating this is really, it's not only inappropriate, but it's actually vile. It shows so you care about gossip, but not a human being getting there, and then comparing it to people being sniped every day. I totally get it, but one person is too many. Much less 20 a day, 100 a day, one a day. All lives actually fucking matter. Sorry, I have to use I hate using that term, to be honest, because it's been bastardized as well. All these terms to desensitize us from our empathy. Men today don't want to feel. They've never really wanted to feel. And then when men cry, they're shamed and laughed at. There's some weird shit. All this other psyop shit, whatever the fuck's going on, put it aside for a minute and sit with your heart, your soul, your ascension. You'll have a lot of time to go down the rabbit hole of why, who, when, whatever, okay? The most important thing for you, though, is to check your nervous system, to check your level of empathy, your integrity, your caring. This is when turning the other cheek, if you're really a Christian, and again, I'm not, but I am a Yeshua devotee, I'll say that, but I'm certainly not going to live a Christian life because it's filled with holes. It's like Swiss cheese. However, if you truly believe, then walk the talk. I'm seeing people literally now threaten other people. And they've been chomping for a fight since, honestly, today's 9/11. Since 9/11. And people refuse to still connect with their integrity. It's a bully mob mentality that's going on right now. And I think it's sad that we have leaders in power right now that are not unifying the people in this country and other countries around the world. There's no unification. There's a lot of the level of dishonor is, I've never seen so much dishonor full in your face. So that means that you have to become that torch of honor, integrity, empathy, and power. You have to wear that cloak. You have to be your own leader and align yourself with others that believe in this philosophy. And again, I go back to the 144,000. Every year I live on this planet, every year I see how people can actually have empathy for one thing, but then suddenly switch it off to something else. It's like a button. No. There are certain things that empathy would go out the window. I'll tell you, the only one harming children. And you know exactly where I don't want to go. You harm babies, you're on my shit list. That's the only time that for me, and I have to work on that, because the best thing I could do, instead of seeking revenge on such a creature, would be to walk the fuck away. To be honest. And to do all I could to take care of those children and get them back into some kind of healing. But if anyone's ever been through that kind of child abuse, if that's your story, then you know how you're still fucking healed. Time does not heal all wounds, or else it would not be childhood trauma. Time does not heal all wounds at all. That's a lie. So try to keep yourself, maybe even step away from social media for a week or two. I'm not joking. Find refuge in your meditations. Find refuge in your light beings on the other side of the veils. Work on bringing in 5D. it's going to get unfortunately worse, because you have a lot of people who claim they're Christians and they're full of shit. They wouldn't know Christian. If Yeshua today walked down the street as he was 2,000 years ago, they would call him a leftist with the beard and the long tunic and barefoot, maybe with mala beads around his neck. They would call him a leftist, these weird ass fucking conservatives who think, right? So if you're a conservative, if you're a leftist, honestly, wake the fuck up. We're here. We want the same thing. We want peace on the planet. We want to not be manipulated by a small percentage of fucks. You know? I would highly recommend you watch videos on Dan Pena. Daniel, I think it's Dan, yeah, Dan Pena, Pena, Dan, Dan. Watch his videos at around 2018, 2019, where he's doing retreats. I want you to see how they talk about us. This is a retreat for millionaires to become billionaires. I want you to watch some of those videos. If you don't know who Dan Pena is, in other words, know the players. And the fact that so many people are being easily manipulated and led by their nose like bulls to the abattoir is a joke. People they've been sitting on their own anger, their own personal vendetta for how they were raised, who betrayed them, who cheated on them. It's just petty any shit that they've been sitting on their rage, and now they have a reason to explode it onto some whatever it is. It's splattering onto an excuse to threaten violence, which is insane. And we know this. And so, so as you gather your power and you seek refuge in your meditations, and you seek refuge in nature, and you call on your archangels and your protectors and your guardians and so forth, you will be in a bubble of protection. And try not to, well, I mean, really, don't drink the Kool-Aid. And if you felt nothing when you saw the Charlie Kirk situation, if you felt nothing, like absolutely like straight line, then I would ask you, have you seen the stuff in Gaza? Did you feel something? If you felt nothing there, if you've come to a place of being completely desensitized, please check yourself. This is not normal. It's not a flex. It's nothing to be proud of. You should really check yourself. Because that kind of consciousness isn't going to get you shit except another incarnation into 3D. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that straight up. Your power is your empathy. Your power is your vulnerability. Your power is to tear up. The ability to tear up from seeing a raccoon being abused to seeing a human being lose their life. A human fucking being. No matter what he said, he was a human being. He was a 31-year-old man who, it looks like to me, was walking out of some ignorance and walking into some light, and was struck down before he could complete his journey in this incarnation, in my opinion. And even if he hadn't, even if he had stayed stuck with his vendetta, right, like whatever, right, I would have still said that's fucked up. That is really fucked up. And most importantly, the trauma of his children are very similar in some sense to these kids. Their mother has not made a statement, which I find probably understandable. I think back on Jackie Onassis, Jackie Kennedy, when her husband, by the way, just remember, she came from a generation where men cheated, okay? So she knew about her husband. She knew about his little side chicks, okay? But she clearly loved him. She clearly loved him. That's why she wore the suit and said, let them see what they've done. Okay? So she loved him. And the only reason why she married Onassis, and this is something I know for a fact, she was afraid for her children and she wanted to be safe. And she knew Onassis, who was a ship magnate, okay, could protect her. He had lots of money, helicopter pad, 250-foot yacht in international waters with bodyguards. She knew she'd be safe and her kids would be safe. She didn't marry him because she loved him. She married him for protection. That's how fucking terrified that woman was. What I find interesting, which is totally off topic but on topic, is that they represented Camelot. Camelot, just look it up. Arthur's Round Table, the knights of honor, chivalry, that whole thing. And what I found egregious, which I didn't find out until it was done, and no one fucking said anything, was that the Jackie Kennedy's Rose Garden was cemented over. Did you see that? That's a symbol. That's a symbol. That's a symbol. That's a symbol. And I hope you know what I'm saying. So, whatever Charlie Kirk's widow is feeling and thinking, I have to say, from a woman to a woman who, and I'm just going to bring you back to empathy. This is a woman who loved his smell. This is a woman who probably had coffee with him this morning. This is a woman who touched his hand, loved his lips on the back of her neck. This is a woman who made love to him. He made love to her. This is a woman who, I don't care what their philosophies were. This is a woman who knew him, knew his tears, knew his dreams, his passions. It doesn't matter if you don't agree. And she sat there watching that entire fire of her man gone. And she couldn't do a fucking thing about it. So if you don't have empathy, maybe this will put it into, just think of yourself in her shoes and think of the man you love or the woman you love and then play it all again. But now it's you living that moment. And I'm sure the empathy that you may have lost along the way comes back. And you might actually be brought to tears to your knees. That's what we have to understand. Trust me, there's not one word I agreed with him. Not one. But I was in shock and I was in grief. Because 31, and see, I remember when I was 31, half the shit I believed in at 31 was stupid as fuck. Half the things I did, said, believed in were stupid as fuck. And I believe in reincarnation. I've believed in reincarnation since I could say my own name. You can still be an asshole and you can still be stupid at 31. As I was. So I'm thinking 31, what the fuck? I didn't have my son until I was 37. And a lot of things change when you have children. A lot. So just think. It wasn't like she lost him in a car accident where she gets the call. She doesn't get to see. No, it's not that. Or she gets the call that, somebody took him out, but she never gets to. No, she got to see. See, every moment that morning will be played out on how they put the kid in the car seat, how they were driving to the function, how all of these things and that final moment. And in that final moment, she wasn't even allowed to hold his hand as maybe the shreds of his soul were lifting out of his body. In other words, she didn't get to be next to him until he was completely out of his body. In other words, it was done, final. Where he was stiffening. Let's just be graphic. And that's not the same. It's not the same. You see what I'm saying? So empathy is not hard. But you need to protect it like your weight in gold. And I'm not seeing that with people. I'm seeing people forget the celebration, just saying, well, I've seen Gaza for 2 years and what the fuck is just like Gaza. And that's a very poor, that's pathetic. I'm blocking these motherfuckers. And I'm unfollowing them. I don't want that on my feed. That is not a consciousness match to 5D. And yeah, I'm fucking judging. You want to call it discernment? I call it judgment. Judge it. Is this what I want? Is this what I want to hang with? Is this what I want on my feed? No, it's not. The people that are doing their job and really putting together some very intense, interesting, thought-provoking, damn near dangerous ideas of why, how, and whatever on this scenario none of them are celebrating. The ones that are really smart and they know what they're doing, they're not celebrating. All of them have the good sense and integrity and honor to start out their video with regards to the family. We are being led by a bunch of psychopaths, period. It's completely because we should be grieving as a country that this happened while in Colorado there was a mass pew-pew. Since, again, I hate using these fucking words. What am I, 12? We're going to go poo-poo, pew-pew. I hate that shit. I hate this fucking system that's decided it's okay for us to be treated like we're fucking 9, 10, 12 years old. Editing our words. Anyway, on the heels of that is that. Fuck the karma of what he said. Fuck what he said. I mean, throw that all in the trash. Fuck it. What's important is that people are fucking losing their shit and harming innocent bystanders for no reason. And that's the question. And that is no different than Gaza. It is no different. School kids, there's a video going around of it looks like a commercial. I got a notebook from blah blah. I got a backpack from blah blah, and suddenly it turns into a pew pew system shootout. And it's like and what happens in Colorado? The same thing. Why? And what's interesting is parents, okay? And this is very important, okay? This is because I talk about parenting, okay? Parents are allowing their excuse me, I'm getting angry now. They're allowing their fucking kids playing video games on war games, bang bang, boom boom games. What the fuck do you expect? What do you think you're raising? You don't get Sunday dinner. You're all eating at different hours. Hey, Joey, I got to take you to baseball practice and then hockey. Let's get a McDonald's. Is that a conversation? Is this all we have as parents? You're going to go get your kid a Happy Meal, drive him up and down the fucking world to get him into his activities? And then plump him in front of a computer game because your grades were A+, Billy. You get to get this war game. And you can play it just for 2 hours a day, baby, that you do your homework. What kind of fucking raising is this? Do you believe this shit? I remember when Afghan happened, okay? That some of these guys were listening to rock and roll. If you go all the way back to Vietnam, which is no video games, obviously, but for those of you who don't know, that there were no video games in the 70s, okay, 60s and 70s. But I remember Afghan and these guys putting on their headset, listening to rock and roll, whatever, right? And going on assignments, if you know what I'm saying, as if this is a video game. There's a lot of things we need to discern. And I'm just going to say, edit and prevent. My son, the only video game he played was driving games, racing driving games. That means that was it. The Grand Prix in Monaco. The LA Grand Prix, San Diego, whichever Grand Prix there were. That was it. That was it. He would say, can I play with Joe? He's going to, no. You're not playing with Joe on that. No. And right there, I'd say, no, not happening. He was 9, 10, 11. All his friends did it. No. It was a fucking no. And parents aren't doing that. They're fucking, Christmas comes and they're giving them all kinds of shit just to keep them shut up and out of their way. Let's be honest. So that mommy and daddy can have a glass of wine and watch a Netflix. If you can't raise your kids and guide them into becoming fucking good human beings, maybe you shouldn't have them. It's that simple. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Don't have kids. Yeah, I wonder what kind of baby Joey has such great blue eyes. It takes more than fucking blue eyes to raise a kid. And we are raising some serial weirdos. Okay? And we can't do that. We really have to do better. And you combine that with, happy, to rewire the chemistry of the brain, and you get a potion for fucking horrors. It's a horror. So while everyone's dealing with the loss of Charlie Kirk, right? Because it's any human being, any fucking human being, I don't care. Right now, as we speak, there's someone taking their last breath through violence. Right now, as we speak, everywhere on this planet, somewhere, there are multiple people taking their last breath through engineered famine, through violence, and I'm only talking about the ones leaving the bodies right now through violence. And to me, engineered famine is a violent act. Everywhere on the planet, right now as we speak, and every other 30 seconds, someone's taking their last breath. Let's be aware. It all fucking matters when it's under a system of violence. And these video games are shit. They're not creating good human beings. They're not. What there are is these kids are being totally wired to be desensitized completely by violence because they see violence as a video game. They see it as the enemy, and the enemy is what? And again, I don't want to sound like I'm politically incorrect, but how can you have this conversation? Some of the people that are in these video games that are being used as, are victimized in these video games are brown, a beige, a blue, a polka dot. In other words, they are the most vulnerable. And so these kids are literally connecting all of these things. It's no different than some of these little games on how they train police dogs on certain communities. Let's put it that way. And they wire the dog's brain to see certain people who look a certain way to get active. You get what I'm saying? Subtly. So that's what we're doing with kids with video games. We're actually desensitizing them so that, you'd have people saying, so now today, these kids that have been raised and groomed, I'm going to say groomed, on these video games would look at what happened with him and, Charlie Kirk, or these kids, at the school. God bless these kids. I think 3 children lost their lives. Children. Can you imagine? Hey, Mom, I'll see you tomorrow. What do you want for dinner, baby? What do you want for dinner? Not knowing that'll be the last time they see their child. Empathy is very easy to maintain. You just water it every day. You give it fertilizer, and you're present with it every day. Empathy is very easy. To lose empathy is you've lost your humanity. You completely lost the plot. And to be fair, I have gone up and down the rabbit hole of YouTube just to get more information because I'm wired. I want to know why. Follow the money. Follow the trail. Follow the breadcrumb. But that's not what I'm not going to talk about this today. I didn't see one shit on those kids. Not one fucking thing on those children. Something came up also where we really don't have masculine leaders. Eyes _in on Instagram wrote a post. He's been on this path as a sacred, divine, powerhouse, warrior, masculine shaman. Yes, he deserves all of that, what I just said. And he has been on the pulse of everything that is harming our ascension. All of it. He is vocal, he is passionate, and he's just. But we don't have enough of them. What we're stuck with are the Dean Winters, that little fuck. And I'll say that because he's a fake. Some of these content creators are at the level of fuckery is concerning. The content creator, my favorite guy, has been on point from day one, and he's such a young man. I think he's probably 19 now, and he's been following the Gaza situation, and he has always maintained his integrity and his empathy. He would never celebrate this. I doubt it. But he's young. And he might have a way of spinning it that he believes right now at 19 that he may be embarrassed when he's 29. See, that's what I'm saying. We evolve. We have to be evolved. When we're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, we are filled with what they call piss and vinegar. And then wisdom mellows our passions. And we become more careful and more introspective as we age, which is incredible. It's an opportunity to refine our abilities to be, well, to grow up, but to grow. And it's funny, grow up, ascension, yes, up. And so be careful with some of these fuckers, because, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because I heard, and the guy, he was a big burly man with a beard. I might have reposted, I don't know, because I'm being careful, and I'm being careful because at this point now, it's so bad, you don't need me to repost shit at this point. You're getting your own feed, I know you are. And so I think I might back away from reposting, and I'll tell you why. Because I really want to protect my nervous system, yes, but yours as well. So here's what I suggest we do. We protect our empathy with every breath we take. And we give proper honor to those who lose their lives, no matter what their opinion. As long as they're not harming babies, we're good to go. We're good to go. And he was definitely not harming babies. He was just a young man who was fierce in his understanding of the world, and it looked like cracks of light were coming through. That's what I'll say. And I did my research, so I'm not just saying that on my ass. And what I will say is that this is being used as an opportunity, once again, to separate us. Once again, divide and conquer. And I will not use the terms that will get me totally struck off TikTok for the rest of my fucking life. There are terms. I did a whole numerology yesterday. I urge you to watch it on patterns of numbers. But one thing I will say, and I need to go back to this because it's very, if this is correct and there's no CGI, AI bullshit, if he really had 40, he had the caps that said 47. 47 is 11. What is 3 times 11? I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. I won't go any further than that. If you're smart, you'll ask, what does 33 mean? What does it connect to? I'll leave it there. And that's weird. That's fucking weird. That's all I'm going to say. So numbers are massively important. And we're going to turn it back to you now because it's important, okay? So what I will say to you is the 1% have always understood the power of numbers. And you have been weaned very slowly into your ascension until you're awakening. And the first numbers you ever saw, many of you, were either a personal number or you saw 1111. That was the first numbers you ever saw, which is interesting, right? And then you start seeing different types of numbers like 444 and 555 and 333 and this and that. And I want you to go see my video because in it, I talk about all the people whose lives were extinguished too fast. And there's a pattern. And I'm not really a pattern person, though I guess I am. But why? It's going to teach you about how to understand and decode your message that you're getting personally. Because I can tell you, they're using numbers to do certain things. And why? Because the universe uses, there's an energy about it. And again, let me just preface this by saying that all the great conquerors, emperors, kings, warriors always had an oracle. Always. They always had an oracle. And the oracle would tell them if the moon was going to, they knew about the moon. They knew about the stars. They knew about numbers, or if not numbers, they would use different types of totems like bones and runes and, you know what I mean? All kinds of shit, sticks, I swear to God. And they could read things out of, because ultimately, let me just say, just as a hint, many of us, when we read tarot, we don't read tarot. A tarot is like me opening the window, okay? And the downloads come. If I had been raised 3,000 years ago where I threw bones I would read the bones. Does that make sense what I'm saying? In other words, the tarot is a vehicle that opens my door in my subconscious, right? And everything opens, and I'm allowing the downloads to start the minute I start throwing tarot. Similarly to, it would be no different if I played with runes or bones, or some people use tea leaves or coffee grounds or whatever. I swear to God, that's what it is. It's almost like we're saying to the universe, okay, I'm ready. And to be honest, I don't need tarot to get downloads at all. I just get, but what tarot does, and the reason I'm bringing this up to you, because tarot is connected to numbers, right? Numbers. And so when you're seeing numbers on the clock, on the this, on you're seeing how many likes, you're like, oh my God, that's my number, 33 likes, or 333 likes, or you know what I'm saying? And you're seeing your bank account, and and it just hits you all day long, a particular number. You have to understand how the universe is communicating with you, how your guides are using these systems for you to pay attention. Now, imagine 3,000 years ago, there are no clocks, there are no buses, there are no numbers on buildings. So how were they doing it? Through feathers, through certain insects that kept coming. Like some of you will actually connect with hummingbirds, butterflies, white ones, black ones, whatever. You'll connect with. You'll say, show me I'm right, and show me a white feather or black feather, and boom, you see two feathers, a crow's feather, and God knows what kind of feather, but it's white, right? The universe is talking to you every single day. A certain group of people know about the numbers, and they use these numbers to do X, Y, and Z. Speaking of 9/11, my friend, who is in her deep 70s, going into her 80s, had a transition chart. What was it called? I'm trying to remember the term. Fuck. Anyway, she got her horoscope. Transits, that's what it was. She got her horoscope done, and she does it every year on transits. She's been doing it for 40 years. From the same company where they still take checks. Swear to God, you send them a snail mail check, okay? And they send you the transit, okay? On 9/11, since here we are in 9/11, God bless the souls that lost their lives, and the survivors who had to deal with it. On 9/11, her transit said not to do shit. I swear to you. I swear to God. Not to do anything. This was a bad day for anything, to stay home. And fuck, she stayed home, and boom, you know what happened. Horoscopes have been used for thousands of years. And I mean that. Thousands. We're talking about Egypt. We're talking about the Vedic horoscopes, for example. It goes probably back to our starseed origins, believe it or not. So transits, so getting your horoscope for your transits isn't a bad idea, and I highly recommend you get yourself a transcript to start looking at numbers, to start learning how your horoscope affects you, and the day you were born and the hour you were born. It fucking matters. When I do numerology for clients, when they say, should I give you the day I was born? I mean, the time I was born. If they say it, I go, okay, there must be a reason, right? So I go, yeah, and boom, there it is, right? Like, for example, I had one client, I'll never forget this, and it was a message for me as well as her. She was born at 1:44 p.m. Now, you know how significant that number is. It's as significant, but in a different way, as 333. Yeah, it's intense. The numbers on your name. What was interesting when I did the numerology for Charlie, his name was spelled IE ending, not Y, which I thought was interesting. And so I talk about it in the video. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. I actually opened it. I was going to do it Patreon only, but I went, no, people need to understand numbers. They need to understand. And just to give credit to my twin, he's the one that turned me on to the power of 9. I have never seen anyone write about the power of 9. Now people are hip to it, but they were not in 2014 and 2013 at all. And I first heard about it from him, I think it was 2008, but I solidly remember 2013. 2013 was a solid time when I went 9. And I had been doing numerology since 1990. I think it was 94, 96. I honestly, but I know I had the book since 94. I'll say that. But by 1996, I was deep, neck deep in numerology. And then in 2014, he brought me or 13. He brought me the number 9 in full consciousness, and I was off and fucking running. And I see patterns, and you will too. And we are being asked, because if we could hear or understand the language of God, universe, however you want to say it, it would be through mathematics, numbers. And that's why Sanskrit is a mathematical language. You see how it's intersectional shit. It's insane to me. I mean, I'm always being blown away. Something that came up, okay? They're telling me not to say it here, so I won't. But suffice it to say, oh, thank you, Gemma Butterfly, exactly. So suffice it to say, keep on your keep on your track, stay on your lane. Do not get discouraged. As a matter of fact, it's always the darkest before the dawn, and it's not darkest yet. I'm sorry to say that. We could turn this train around. We could. We're all on this train, and it has gone from a fucking steam train to a fucking bullet train. Okay, shit's going fast. It's going really, really fast because there's a certain group of people, you know who they are because they're not us, who are realizing that time is of the essence. That means we are making progress, my friend. People don't panic unless... I'm laughing to myself because people don't panic. They don't panic until they know. Do you know, have you ever faced a person you've accused of cheating or lying or something and they get very angry at you? And they really get angry at you because you've triggered them, you've questioning them because you know they're full of shit. Okay. We're there. We have been accusing them of lying, cheating. It's basically a macro of the micro that you've gone through personally. So you're used to this. You know how this plays out. So keep your peace, protect your peace, protect your integrity, your empathy, protect your journey in ascension at all costs, meaning don't let anybody step on your journey. Don't let anybody shadow your journey. Take breaks. Sit on the side of the road. It's kind of like The Camino. A lot of us on the book club read The Camino by Shirley MacLaine. And The Camino, you meet people along the way. Some people will make it, and some people will quit. And so we are in the Camino, the spiritual ascension of the Camino, El Camino. Okay? And it's a pilgrimage. And we're going on this pilgrimage together. And we will see people on the side of the road who've lost heart. Give them bread. Give them water. Give them wine. And sit a little with them. But you're not here to convince them. They have to want it as bad as you. Okay? So you don't get yourself distracted by bullshit, by people who don't want it, and by people who stop believing. Okay? No weapons formed against shall prosper. Gotcha, Livy. The devil demons definitely attacked this week. Yes. And Tony, what's the name of the numerology book you use? The book I use, honestly, I don't like to recommend it that much because it's not great. I'm going to write a book, but it's by Linda Goodman. I will give credit to Linda Goodman because Linda Goodman was probably the best astrologer to this day. There are no one that touches her to this level. But the book is called Linda Goodman's Starseeds, The Secret Codes of the Universe, a practical guide for the New Age. But I'm going to be writing my own book, and it's going to be because you see, her knowledge was she's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, okay? But like for example, in her 9, right? In her number 9, it doesn't talk about what my twin taught me, which I think is shit. Listen, I'll read it to you again. I'll read to you a little bit of what she says about 9. The number 9 vibrates to the planet Mars. Oh, by the way, they found life. They say, I think we all knew Mars had life before. And to be honest with you, Mars still has life. It's just that we can't see it through our 3D eyes because they're in higher dimensions, like 6, 7D. And you and I can't see 6, 7D here, much less in Mars. So as far as I'm concerned, they found life. Yeah, they found life that used to be probably on a 4D level. And just that came out just this week as well. But anyway, speaking of Mars, the number 9 vibrates to the planet Mars. It represents aggressive action, penetration, courage, and conflict. Okay, bullshit. Bullshit. 9 is more of a Pleiadian number. It's a number, and why am I saying Pleiadian? It's a starseed galactic number. Galactic, God. Why? Because it is a co-creation number. And I really broke it down for you guys on this video last night. Okay? 9 is a master number. And it's interesting because when you read her book and she has the muzzle line 11, but yet people are saying, oh, it's a divine number. 11 and 22, it's so divine. No, it's not. It's shit. Let me read it to you. It's shit. And I've seen people with the life path 11. 11 doesn't get good until it turns into 2. And what do they say in numerology? They say, never add the number 11s. In other words, 1 plus 1 or 2 plus 2. Never do it. Well, then it's shit. Because the magic of 11 morphs into 2, which is the high priestess in tarot. See, the book I'm going to be writing, I'm looking to write, it's probably not going to be more than 148 pages, but it's going to talk about these things. Because when you read the muzzle line, listen to this. A clenched fist, there's a number of hidden trials and treachery from others. That's true. See, so how is it a master number? Do you see what I'm saying? The logic here, it represents 2 members of the same or the opposite sex or 2 opposed situations. In other words, Gemini energy. In either case, compatibility of interest is lacking and interference from a third force must be conquered. Yeah, the third force is the monkey mind. I'll tell you that now. So she talks about that. I'm going to jump. Okay, and then 22, because these 2 numbers, which irritates the fuck out of me. Oh, I have a master number on 22. I'm like, no, that's not a master number. Let me tell you what the master number she says. She says that 22, again, remember, you cannot add 2 plus 2. It has to remain 22. Hence, it's a master number. Again, I refute that logic completely. It's not a master number. 9 is the only master number. 22 is symbolized by the ancients as a good man, blinded by the folly of others with a knapsack on his back full of errors. Full of errors. How the fuck is this a master number? Let me continue. I'm just going to jump. The karmic obligation here is to be more alert, to curb spiritual laziness, and how is this a fucking master number? Why are numerologists saying that this is a master number? It isn't. It's not. And develop more spiritual aggressiveness, to realize your own power to change things, to prevent failure by simply ordaining success when this personal responsibility is recognized, practiced, and finally mastered. The 22 person can be in control of events, no longer blinded by the folly of others, and will see ideas achieved and dream realized. Can I tell you what the master numbers are besides 9? And it's not because I have one of those numbers. It's 27, it's 21, it's 23, it's 18, it's 15, and 14. Those are the master numbers. Let me see what else. 29 is a shit number. I'm being honest with you. And I'm sorry if you're one of those numbers. 31 is the recluse. I mean, in other words, 31, just to finish the sentence, is a hermit. It's a yogi. It's a volunteer. It's a 4. 4 is a really powerful number that never gets recognized. And if you look at tarot, right, the 4 of Wands is the only good card. After that, there's the 4 Cups. It's crap because you're refusing an opportunity. 4 of Swords, you're healing, and it's not a good healing. It's after the 3 of Swords where your heart was broken. And then there's, what did I say? 4 Cups, 4 Swords. 4 Pentacles is a miserly, fucked up energy. So when you are at the 4 number, you've got to like literally walk through all these fucking challenges until you get into the 4 of Wands, which is the 4 pillars of your power, right? Which connected to 1111, which is connected to twin flames. It became that, but it was never twin flames like 10, 15 years ago. But it is now. but it is the integrity of the, I'm going to say it, the soul, the mind, the body, and the etheric self, or the Atma, the higher soul. Your true self, when you're not in this avatar or other avatars. Does that make sense? And that's where it comes together. My dad passed at 2222, which is 6, right? And 6 is connected to Venus. 6 is a great number because it's connected to love. It's connected to the planet Venus. And what is Venus? Well, it's a planet of high frequency, beautiful beings. Venusian elders are part of the Galactic Council, and so 222 is a gorgeous. It's actually a beautiful time to drop your body. Okay, and yeah, I think that's and depending on the day he died, and I did a whole thing. Again, you guys can check it out. And I'm sorry about the loss of your father, by the way, in 2017. No, but it's not just 2017. It's and I'm not going to do a personal number here for you. No offense, because I want to stay on track. But it includes the day, the month, and the year. It includes that. But in terms of 2017, here you have a 10, which is ironic because Charlie Kirk, all of it was 10. All of it. Okay, now they tell me to say it. So his name was 10. He was born on the 10th. His life path was 10. He died on the 10th. And the day he died, the day, the month, and year came out to 10. Trump said, my condolences at 302. BB fuckhead also did it at 302, which is 10. All 10s. And 10 is the wheel of fortune, Isis Osiris. The balance, the wheel goes up and then it goes down. Bad luck, good luck. Bad luck, which is life. It's how you live. But it also then synthesizes to the number 1, and 1 is connected to the sun, which is clarity, healing. Do you understand? It's actually a great number, 1, when it comes down to 1. But did you notice how there were layers? Right? Layers, right? So if somebody has a life path of 19, 1 plus 9 is 10. Then there's a story about it is when people talk. I get so irritated with these numerologists. I really do. They'll say, "Oh, you're 10, and it means blah blah blah," and it's like, no. You're a 19, then you're a 10, then you're a 1, and it's almost like it's saying you go through this, you go through that, you go through this. Whereas there's some people born in 2000 where there's no 9s in there. Like I'll give you an example. Let me make it up. Somebody born 2/23/2000. Okay, so. What is that? It's 7, right? And that's the only number they have. Swear to God, that is the only number they have. They have a 7, pure off. That's it. Boom, 7. Whereas somebody born in the 1990s, 19 whatever, like 1900s, okay? Because there's 9s all over the place. This is why it's a master number. They will have an 18, right? Excuse me. They'll have a 16, excuse me. So it's a 16. And then it goes from 16 to 7. And 16 is shit. I'm going to be honest. But once you go from 16 and you've overcome the volatility of 16, you go right into 7, which is the journey connected to Neptune. It's really cool. I drew 10 of spades today in my spread. Wow. So does that make sense? So it's fascinating, right? It's fascinating. Numbers communicate where you're going and why it's time. Astrologers have been doing, right now astrologists are saying, some of the ones that I think sound solid to me. I don't know them personally, or do I follow them? No, but I will say this. Some astrologers right now are saying, keep your shit together. Keep your cool. Don't get triggered. Walk away from fights. Do not get triggered into an argument. I don't care if it's personal, at your job. Fucking walk away. Yeah, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek, again, which was a totally not explained, in my opinion, at all. Was never to get your ass kicked once again. It was to know when to walk away. Know when to walk away. Know that it's like choose your battles is a great saying. And this is not today. Today's not the day. Right? There's a saying, I forget what it says. Not today, Satan, right? Okay, so I love that line. It's funny as fuck to me. But yeah, not today. Today's not the day. And so right now we are in a pocket of volatility, vulnerability, and you need to really up your meditations, up working on your chakras, up, up, up. I'm going to do another meditation after I do you guys, and I will meditate for myself. I'm going to pull out some cards. I think it's a good idea. And I'm glad that you guys are here, and I feel so fortunate to talk to you about some of the things that fascinate me. We're going to do a couple cards, and I'm not sure if this is, I have this deck. It's called Angelic Lightwork, and I think it's probably appropriate for it. We probably need to go, not today, Satan, right? Exactly. I love that line. It's so, not today. All right, so we're going to do, okay, so we're looking at the deck, Keepers of the Light. We did it yesterday by Kyle Gray, who's a British dude. I love him. He's a sweetie pie. And I want you to pick top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle. Majority wins. And then we're going to go into the Angelic Lightwork by Alana Fairchild. Hopefully it'll be a good deck. All right, when you're ready. Middle. Okay, top. Okay, I'm going to go with top. Okay, cool. Now listen. Mahavatar Babaji, soul expansion. Isn't that what we just talked about? Soul expansion, growing. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. Exactly. Did we not talk about, did you hear what he just said? You understand the connection of all things. What did we talk about? Numbers. We talked about how everything is interconnected and always communicating to us. And we don't always listen. Okay, so this is in page 72, which, what is 7 plus 2 but 9? So that starts out well. And I'll read that to you, and then hopefully I can read the other. Okay, so about Mahavatar means great incarnation or avatar, and Babaji means sacred father. Mahavatar Babaji is a deeply respected master yogi who was introduced in the world through the teachings of the Indian yogi Paramahansa Yogananda. Oh my God. I just got a set of books by Paramahansa Yogananda called The Second Coming of Jesus Christ Through You. It talks about the Kundalini. It talks about all kinds of things. You can buy the set on eBay. And again, the book is called The Second Coming of Jesus Christ by Paramahansa Yogananda. Holy shit, what a book. It's a series of 2 books, actually, but let me continue. Babaji, as he's called for short, is said to be over 2,000 years old and able to travel between Earth and other worlds. He is said to have an invisible temple in the Himalayas that can appear to those he wants to connect with. Many believe that he is like Christ himself, bringing deep love, acceptance, and forgiveness, insight, and direction. Okay, I would say to you to, again, the name of this, here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see if I can type this out for you guys so you can do a screenshot. Hang on, okay? Yeah, that book is amazing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to write the book here, The Second Coming of Christ Within You. And haven't I said the Second Coming of Christ? I think it's called that, by Paramahansa. And I'm typing it out for you guys so you can do a screenshot. Paramahansa, let me see. Hang on, okay? I want to make sure I'm spelling it. Paramahansa Yogananda. And Yogananda. Okay, so there you go. And the second coming of Christ, through you, okay, or within you. You'll find it on eBay. I found tons and tons of various. So there's the softback, which goes into a case. It's gorgeous, and the hardback might cost you maybe $5 to $10 more. I got the hardback because I want it for longevity, right? And I highly recommend this book. Okay, all right. Been loving him lately. Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, so apparently this is an avatar, Mahavatar Babaji. The extended message is this: you may feel that you've retreated from the world. Didn't I say retreat from the world? Recently, maybe you've not been active socially or spiritually, but this time of inner rest has really paid off. You are becoming more and more consciously aware of how connected you are to God and all living beings. This sense of union is called yoga. Yoga goes beyond physical ability into a sense of awareness that created through spiritual practice, meditation, and devotion to the divine. Mahavatar Babaji, the yogic father here, is here to inspire that fire of union within you so that you can understand how your thoughts and actions are creating the waves of energy that form your life. That's right. Thought become matter. That was a great card. I want to see, hopefully I can read this. I might skip, okay? I'm just going to tell you straight out. But again, this is from the Angelic deck by Alana Fairchild. This deck here was called, again, The Keepers of Light by Kyle Gray. Okay, just so you know who I'm reading from, in case you want to buy them yourself. And the Angelic Light Work. So let's see what's up with that. Okay, so again, same thing. I'm going to ask you to, and I don't have a lot of time. My phone's going to die, and I'm using a microphone so that you guys get a good experience. But pick top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle. When you're ready, and majority wins. Top, bottom, or middle. Let's see what kind of card you guys get. Bottom, bottom. Okay, you got it. Bottom. All right, so this is called 8. Safe Shelter. Okay, Safe Shelter. Let me look at this. It's number 8. 8 is a karmic number. Okay, so let's look at what that means. Safe Shelter 54, which is 9. Wow, okay. 54, which is 9. It's on page 54. Let's look at that. Bear with me, I just skipped. Okay, so all her cards, by the way, speaking of the 4 wands, this looks like a Greek temple with this incredible mandala of light over it. It's really beautiful. It's got these beautiful lilac, indigo, violet, just over a temple, okay? On a physical level, you might need to move home or find a place to live that is more aligned with your heart. You may be struggling with homelessness in your own life or in your compassion for those encountering such circumstances or in your fear of it. Some people have a house but not the emotional safety to transform it into a home. The Oracle of Safe Shelter... Okay, I'm going to stop right for a minute. This may not resonate at full value. On a physical, you might need to move home or find a place to live that is more aligned with your home. She's talking, for you, she's talking about our planet. It doesn't feel like home. It doesn't feel safe. You feel homeless sometimes being here. You might have a shelter. You might have a roof over your head, an apartment, a house, whatever. But you feel completely disconnected. Okay? Some people have a house, but not the emotional safety to transform it into a home. The Oracle of Safe Shelter calls upon Archangel Michael's protection to strengthen us from within so we can find the sanctuary we need. A home, and if you have a twin flame or you had a twin flame, whatever the hell you're going, or a high-level soulmate, you know that home was in their arms. You never slept better than in their arms. So home isn't so much the environment as who surrounds you in that environment. That's why we need community. He allows us to feel spiritually safety and offers a firm inner foundation from which we can live our best life. If your physical or emotional life is in flux, or you need to be more grounded within your being and less in the opinions of others, for example, this oracle calls you back to the eternal home of light within your heart. Here you will be reassured that no matter what appears to be, the divine plan is unfolding, and everything, did you hear that? Whatever appears to be. But the divine plan is unfolding and everything is going to be okay. That's it. Healing, magic, and manifestation with Archangel. Okay, so listen to the directions, okay? I'm going to give it to you because I usually don't. I skip at this point. But we're going to go ahead and do it, okay? So go ahead, let's get ready. Healing, magic, and manifestation with Archangel Michael. We're going to do it together. I'm putting my hand over my heart. By placing your right hand on your heart and thinking about what you feel gratitude, happiness, or love for in your life. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. So gather all the feelings, things, people, your pets that you have amazing gratitude for. And breathe into that. And feel this incredible bliss, this joy bubbling out of your heart chakra. Just incredible joy. And then say out loud, Archangel Michael, you bring the strength, will, and protection of sacred fire to me now for the greatest good of all. Sacred fire brings the healing gifts of cleansing, freedom from the past, and renewal, so I may experience a new chapter in my life. Please hold and protect the sacred space for healing to happen according to divine grace. I open my heart to you, my dear angelic friend. Please empower and bless this sacred work. So be it. As you hold your hand over your heart, you can visualize, imagine, intend, or pretend that a deep indigo blue light forms a circle around you. The circle can be small or as large as you feel right for you. Let it sit around you, hip level, as the light of that circle shines in all directions. It feels good to be in that circle. It feels powerful and positive. You can support this process with your words saying, a sacred circle of divine protection now forms around me in divine indigo light. Take a moment to repeat, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, at least several times for as long as it feels good for you. You can sing, chant, whisper, or speak boldly and loudly. Whatever suits your heart in that moment is best. As you repeat the angelic name, you can imagine, intend, or feel that you are increasing the presence of Archangel Michael within your heart and your sacred space. Set your intentions now by expressing the reason you are doing this healing. You can speak to Archangel Michael like you are speaking to a trustworthy friend. If you aren't sure why you are doing the healing, but you know you need some help, then express that. Please note, if you're doing this healing on behalf of another, ask for their permission first. If that is not practical, then say, I would like to offer this healing to blank name or to whoever needs it. It can do most good. Can I give you a suggestion? When you say, I would like to offer this healing to blank, put planet Earth so that it can do most good. I would like to offer this healing to planet Earth and its all entire inhabitants, human or animal. Okay? And here comes the prayer. Beloved Archangel Michael, there is always safe spiritual shelter beneath your mighty wings. May all beings in need of shelter be held safely in your protective field of grace. Please help all in need of physical shelter and emotional protection now. Help all beings find the best way to feel safe, loved, and worthy. Divine grace has no limits, and the fire of hope in my heart is enough to open the doorway to such grace. May your sacred fire ignite the hopeless heart so that all may be safely held in divine love. May all feel held by spiritual love within and discover the courage to walk their path. So be it. Visualize, imagine, feel, or intend that enormous angelic wings open wide and wrap gently around all beings in need, in this case, planet Earth. Every being has a pair of guardian angel wings. Keep them safe. Experience this brings a sense of relaxation, peace, grounding, presence, and acceptance into your heart and the hearts of all beings. From that place of presence and acceptance, there is an enhanced ability to feel authentic, intuitive, inner guidance and wisdom. There is the capacity to sense the best steps to take and the best choices to make at any moment as a way through suffering into freedom. Although we cannot always understand why we suffer as we do, we can hold compassion and trust. There is a way through. There is a way through. It's like walking on hot coals. We're all taking our turns through the hot coals. We're all clapping our hands and encouraging each other on walking the hot coals. Every heart shall find its way to the right time through the spiritual grace of divine love. Let your heart become full full with peace and trust. And as you allow your mind to settle upon others who are suffering, peace and trust flow to them too. All this happens beneath the loving wings of the great Archangel Michael. When you are ready, it is time to ground yourself. Become aware of your feet connecting to the earth. Imagine the energy around your head beginning to settle towards your heart and your belly, your legs, and then your feet. Don't imagine this. Feel it happening. Imagine that your connection between your feet and the earth is so strong that if someone tried to push you over, you wouldn't fall. You are strongly rooted to the earth. And then say, from my grateful heart, I thank you, Archangel Michael. This sacred work is now complete. May the energies generated here today bring spiritual benefit to all beings in this life, in past lives, in future incarnations, across all dimensions and planets. I'm adding that, okay? May any excess energy be sent to where it can do the most good, so be it. And the excess energy, have it rush out into the universe. Finally, visualize, imagine, or pretend that the sacred circle of light you created dissolves into the earth. Go to the very center of the earth, okay? And heal her heart in the very center of this planet. Imagine Pachamama Bhumi Gaia, Mother Earth, in the center, just like you have a little girl, a little boy in your heart. Her heart, she has a little girl in the center of this planet. And give this little girl compassion and speak to her as if you are an elder, and tell her that you will always protect her, whether you're incarnated here, whether you're on other planets in your next incarnation, but you will always love her and protect her physically, remotely. It's almost like you're making a pact with her. You're letting her know that you see her, that you love her, that you didn't know who she was in many of your incarnations on her body, but now you see her, you value and you love her. And one day when she's in 5D, and say to her, I hope that I will be here to see this, but if I'm not, I will come visit. I will take one of my reincarnations when you're in 5D and I will come back. That's how much I love you. Because I love you. I love the sea spray. I love the sound of wind in your leaves. I love the animals that you caretake. And I know that all the harm is about to end. Ending. It is ending now. And you will be safe. And hug her. Hug the inner child of Mother Earth. Hug her. And stroke her hair. Her tangled hair with leaves. And wipe the tears away from her face. And tell her that you did not understand, but now you know. You know her light. You know her beauty. And she is perfection. And that the energy is shifting so that the right people will always be here to caretake, to protect her, to love her and her children. And feel it. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So any visions, any downloads, any feelings in your body, I would love to hear if anybody, I thank you so much because I did not know what to do to help our world. I cry. That was beautiful, Tony. Thank you. Yes. Well, if you can connect with Pachamama like this, like here and there, like once a month here, like if you're feeling it, that would be good. Sometimes what I do, just so you know, is I will kneel on my hands and knees and put my forehead down to the ground, down to her body, to give her obeisance as if she was a goddess standing in front of me. And I do that, and I stay there for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, talking to her out loud or in my head, and I'm communicating. And then I wait. I wait for answers, and the answers come. And I give her my reverence, and I apologize. I don't apologize anymore, but I remember when I first started doing this, I would weep and weep and weep and say, "I'm so sorry. I have been a savage to your lands. I've been a savage to your children of fur, fin, and feather. I've done such harm, and I'm not. I see you now." And so that was my first few connections with her, and I've had a relationship, like I would say an intimate relationship ever since. So that's what I would suggest. Okay, that's how you connect. And then she becomes your ally. And then you can actually lay down with her and go, "What do I do? I'm totally overwhelmed." And if you listen, she'll tell you. I swear to God, it never fails. Okay? All right, my loves. Again, check out the Charlie Kirk numerology. I'll say Charlie Kirk and other numbers and patterns. It's on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on whatchamacallit. Follow me where else? I forgot. YouTube's oh yeah, follow me on Patreon. So Patreon, just let me know. There's like a paid. It's $9.99. We do twin flame healing, this and that. It's like a support group. We meet every Saturday. We'll be meeting this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. and it's $9.99 a month. We meet 4 times a month. And it's also for star seeds who are going through the ascension, because it's all interconnected. But I also have a section that's free Patreon. So sometimes I'll put certain things that only you guys will have access to for the Patreon members, and sometimes I make it public. It depends, but at least you'll be you have these two options. Of course, there's other options or higher tiers, but I'm just mentioning the one that is probably going to be more beneficial. Will this be on YouTube? Absolutely will be on YouTube. Yes, this will be on YouTube. And if I were you, the one previous to that, all my work, when I do these lives, this is why I love doing these lives, all of them have a image, and you'll see him. You'll see Shiva, also known, and for me this is Krishna, but for many of you it'll be Shiva. And so you'll see Shiva, you'll see his face. And then the one previous to that, you'll see a man with the sun, he's howling almost, and that's the battle cry of some of the losses that we've had. I highly recommend you do the numerology video. I thought it was really, it blew. I was doing it with you guys as I was, what was being revealed to me. I wasn't prepared. With Charlie, I did a couple preparation to see, but after that, I wasn't prepared, and so we all blew each other's minds, as we were going through it. So I highly recommend that. If you want to go down the rabbit hole of Mary Magdalene and the bastardization of that sacred union and the very beginnings of Old Testament shit, and I'm talking about the way I talk, not in some scholarly way. But go and check out my playlist on that. It's important. I bring up Aubrey Marcus when that shit was happening. It's like one debacle after another. People are falling left and right. None of us are walking on water. I have my own things in my incarnation that I'm not proud of, but I certainly am not ashamed either. It's called an evolution of a human being, an evolution of a human life. But to be honest with you, when people are posing and acting like they're fully healed, that's when it's problematic and becomes disingenuous, right? So as long as we're honest about our shadows and our darkness, you don't have to expose it to anyone but yourself. See, the most important person you have to be honest with is actually yourself, and you're less likely to step in junk shit publicly. I cried a little. I felt forgiveness and peace of Michael. Yes. Yes. So Livy, I love that you have the name Livy. I love that. I love Livy. All right. Much love. I'll talk to you soon. Namaste. Be well. Bye-bye.